Have you noticed how the loudest person in the room is usually the most frightened? Look around you. Most people navigate conflict like a leaf in a hurricane. Someone insults them and they instantly shatter. Someone questions them and they scream to be heard. They believe that volume is a substitute for validity and that rage is a display of power. But they are wrong. They suffer the chaos of the reactive ego. The Stoic sage, however, operates in a different reality. While the masses exhaust themselves trying to dominate others with noise, the Stoic dominates the situation with silence. They understand a fundamental truth that has been forgotten in our hyper-emotional world. True power does not scream, it radiates. If you want to win an argument, you do not need to raise your voice. You need to raise your standard. Today we are going to dismantle the illusion of aggression. We are going to hand you the 6 tools of Stoic dialectic, ancient psychological strategies that allow you to remain unshakable while the world around you loses its mind. This is not about being passive. It is about being precise. Most people are terrified of silence. In the heat of an argument, the average person feels a frantic need to fill every second with noise. They interrupt, they stutter, they rush to defend themselves before the accusation is even finished. They view silence as submission. But the Stoic views silence as a weapon. The first step to winning without raising your voice is to master the strategic pause. When you are challenged or insulted, your biological instinct, the weak default setting, is to react immediately. The Stoic overrides this. Epictetus, the slave who became a philosopher, taught us that we are not disturbed by things, but by our views of things. When you react instantly, you are letting the other person dictate your reality. You become a puppet, and they hold the strings. The strategy: when someone throws a verbal jab, do not block it. Do not counter it. Simply let it hang in the air. Pause for 3 to 5 seconds. Look them in the eye, completely anchored, and say nothing. Why does this work? Because silence creates a vacuum. Human beings are social creatures who crave validation. When you deny them the vibration of a reaction, they panic. They start to over-explain, they stumble, they second-guess the validity of their own attack. The emotional logic: you don't use silence to be awkward, you use silence because autonomy is the only true luxury. By waiting, you are signaling that your inner peace is too heavy, too grounded, to be moved by a mere gust of wind from another person's mouth. Why do you argue? Ask yourself honestly. For the vast majority, an argument is a desperate bid for survival. They argue because their identity is attached to being right. If they lose the argument, they feel they lose their worth. This is why they get loud. They are fighting for their psychological life. The Stoic operates with precision. They adopt the mindset of the archer. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus compared life to archery. You can practice your aim, you can choose the best bow, and you can release the arrow with perfect form. But once that arrow leaves the string, a sudden gust of wind could blow it off course. The hit is out of your control. The release is the only thing that belongs to you. The strategy: enter every conflict with total detachment from the result. Do not try to change their mind. That is outside your control. Your goal is simply to state the truth as you see it, with virtue and clarity. If they agree, good. If they scream and deny it, also good. The authority anchor. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, ambition means tying your well-being to what other people say or do. Sanity means tying it to your own actions. When you stop needing to win, you become impossible to defeat. The person screaming at you is fighting a ghost. You are there, but your ego is not. You remain unshakable because your foundation is built on your own conduct, not their acceptance. The weak debater makes statements. The strong negotiator asks questions. When someone attacks you with an aggressive argument, the standard reaction is to build a wall of defense. They push, you push back. This creates friction, heat, and noise. The Stoic uses Socratic judo. Instead of meeting force with force, you pull them forward until they fall over their own momentum. The strategy: when someone makes an outrageous claim or a personal attack, do not deny it. Instead, ask them to define it. If they say, "You are being disrespectful," do not say, "No, I'm not." Instead, ask calmly, I want to understand you better. What specific action did I take that you define as respect? By asking a question, you force them to switch from the emotional part of their brain, the amygdala, to the logical part, the prefrontal cortex. You force them to think. Most people cannot support their anger with logic. Under the weight of your questions, their argument will crumble. And the emotional logic. We do not ask questions to mock them. We ask questions because clarity is the antidote to chaos. You are inviting them to step out of the fog of their emotion and join you in the light of reason. If they refuse, they look foolish. If they accept, the argument is over. This is the most advanced and dangerous tool in the Stoic arsenal. It requires a lack of ego that is rare in the modern world. Most people treat an insult like a hot coal. They catch it and burn themselves trying to throw it back. The Stoic lets the coal drop and turn to ash. If someone attacks your character, the common reaction is to list your virtues. I am smart. I am hardworking. This reeks of insecurity. The strategy: agree with them and then amplify it. There is a legendary story of a man running up to Cato the Younger, a prominent Stoic, and spitting in his face. Cato did not rage. He did not hit the man. He simply wiped his face and said, "I will swear to anyone that people are wrong when they say you cannot use your mouth." Or consider the approach of Epictetus. He said, "If you hear that someone is speaking ill of you, do not defend yourself against what they said, but answer, 'He does not know my other faults, or he would not have mentioned only these.'" Think about the power of that. By agreeing with the insult, you strip the attacker of their ammunition. You are telling them, "Your opinion of me cannot hurt me because I know myself better than you ever could." The deep benefit. This is not self-deprecation, it is sovereignty. It proves that your self-image is so anchored in reality that no external insult can shake it. You rob them of the pleasure of offending you. Let's talk about physics. High-pitched, fast-paced frequencies are associated with anxiety, fear, and prey animals. Low, slow frequencies are associated with thunder, large predators, and authority. When an argument heats up, the reactive enemy raises their pitch. They talk faster. They vibrate with nervous energy. They are signaling to everyone in the room that they have lost control. The strategy: as they speed up, you slow down. As they get louder, you get quieter. This is a biological law of dominance. By consciously lowering your voice and slowing your cadence, you force the other person to lean in to hear you. You change the dynamic from equals fighting to judge and defend it. Use words that imply weight and permanence. Do not use "I think" or "maybe." Use "it is," "we will," and "the reality." The vibration: you must radiate a sense of grounded calm. Imagine you are a mountain and their anger is merely a storm passing around you. The storm screams, the mountain remains. Which one endures? By controlling your physiology, you control the room. You are not just winning an argument, you are establishing an essence of leadership that will last long after the words are forgotten. Finally, we must understand the ultimate victory. The common person believes winning means the other person admits defeat. They will argue for hours, circles within circles, desperate for that final concession. They enslave themselves to the conflict. The Stoic knows that the only way to win a toxic argument is to leave it. Seneca warned us that anger is like a falling building. If you stand too close, you will be crushed by the collapse of others. There comes a point where logic no longer applies, where the other person is committed to their ignorance. The strategy: recognize the point of diminishing returns. When you realize the other person is not seeking truth, but only victory, you simply stop. You say, "I understand your position, but I do not see it that way. Let us move on." And then, this is the key, you mentally disengage. You do not replay the argument in the shower 3 hours later. You do not gossip about it. You let it fade. The emotional logic: you do not walk away because you are weak. You walk away because your time is the only non-renewable resource you possess. To spend your time arguing with a fool is to become one. The Stoic guards his peace with the ferocity of a soldier guarding a gate.